what is integral in a person? I was watching Olympics and I saw this scene that really remains even in my mind even now is Pistorius is from South Africa is running with blades. He doesn't have his legs, he's just running on blades. And he's the semi-finalist in the 400 meters. It was amazing to watch that. And that actually took me to a little bit on the side, started thinking, what is really a person? When his legs can be replaced, what more? What else can I see in future, right? So I know today it's not just the legs that a person can be, legs are just getting replaced. We see even hands getting replaced, right? So, that can happen. Heart is getting replaced, right? So your middle body can be replaced. So what really remains, the thought comes is like maybe the head, right? That's what is identifying a person. That's what is valuable for a person, is it? And I was thinking about it, probably not. Your eyes can be replaced, your teeth can be replaced, your face can be replaced. So what is it that is integral for a person? That really identifies, that's what he is. So I started thinking more. My research started getting a little bit more on that, thinking what is it that really makes the person? So I went into, okay, maybe it's the brain, right? So I went into saying, okay, let's say it's the brain, went into it. I figured out brain is nothing but memory. And probably a person is really made up of his memory. A memory really defines a person. So today, you are what you have been through in your past, what you have registered in your mind, right? Everything what you are is probably based on your memory. Is it right? Probably, yes, right? Everything. I erase the memory and suddenly you are not you. Is it right? You don't know ABCD because you don't know, you don't have memory. It's as simple as that. I don't know what you will be if the memory is gone. So it's interesting actually to see memory as something, but if you realize memory is not really the thing, because I started thinking upon seeing a small child. Small child comes with zero memory, and you were a small child with zero memory. So you were not you at that time. I don't think so. You were still you, right? You had that identity, and you had no memory. You built the memory. You registered everything you saw. You built the memory, and you came across. So memory, I'm not sure if that is what is identifying, or we should label that with the name identifying a person, right? So that is another thing that I was seeing. A person, actually, in my research, I figured out there's a person whose brain had some problem. He had to go through a surgery, and there is something called hippocampus. This is where your memories are stored. And they had to cut it off. Once they cut it off, that guy was, every day, he comes in, he looks at things, he registers things. Actually, he could never register. So every day he comes in, he feels a new thing. He comes into a room, and it's a new room for him. The next day he comes in, it's still a new room for him. There's nothing registered for him. So that is what is, but he's still a person. So memory cannot be the one which is identifying a person. It does help building what you are, or helps you get into your, build your experience, but it's still not your identity defining you. So further on, I did some research and I figured out memory is so much right now. Science has built up, like trauma patients, right? Somebody who goes through some trauma, some lady who had an accident, whose daughter had an accident. They actually processed her memory, and they selectively erased her memory where she could recollect her daughter's trauma. So the trauma was gone for her. There is a medicine that they can give and selectively erase the memory. Beautiful for her, but again, if you take that, memory is alterable, erasable. Science has proven all this. So how can you identify a person with just memory? It's not really the person's identity, picking just a memory. So I said, okay, maybe it's not just a memory. We need to probably think a little bit deeper here. It may not be just a memory that defines a person. So I went a little bit further and figured out, okay, there's something called mind. Is it mind that defines the person? What do you guys think? Yeah?
Yes, I guess you could call it.
Is it mind? What is mind different from memory?
Don't know.
It so happens mind's definition is something that reasons based on memory. So it's not the memory, but it uses memory as a resource. It's like your processing power, which uses a database and then processes it. So it uses a database of memory, and then it reasons out, analyzes it. And the specific thing about mind is it's a private talk. Is what it really says. So a mind is reasoning based on memory. That is the private talk that you do for yourself. And I thought mind is the one which is going to really define the person now, right? So I started building my thoughts around it, whether it is mind. So I started analyzing further on what mind is really a private neural network in your mind, in your brain, right? So it's really the neural network that is interconnected, and that has the ability to retrieve the memory using the hippocampus and really use it further on to build your analysis, the way you behave. Every behavioral aspect is really coming from the mind for a person. So that really defines, okay, he is different from his behavioral, given the same memory, for example. So that is what is mind. And I was doing research and figured out that there is a person who has really built chips who can really replicate the similar neural network. So he created a chipboard which is going to replicate like 16,000 neurons in a mind. And he has built a computer right now which can replicate a bee's mind. It's that powerful that he has come across. So the thing is, he can really bring that whole mind of bee on a table and make it run like a computer, and it will do the thinking and everything that a bee would do. So interesting. That really brings a good thought process there for me, because now further down, as the processing power improves, they can go to more neurons, and if once they hit 1 million neurons, that would be like a human mind. So if you think on that, if mind is the one which is identifying a person, and you build this whole computer equivalent to, say, my mind on a neuron machine, then it can do exactly, you register the same memory with it, then it can do exactly what I can do. So just like your HP 1440 laptop that you have at your desk, once your HP 1440 dies, you can get another 1440 and you kind of continue your work. Similarly, as long as somebody can bring the same behavior, same network in the machine, let's call it KP 1440, Kiran 1440, right? And it can get the same memory. Once done, irrespective if I'm there or not, the same behavior, the same activities are going to come through that machine, right? And it's going to live on. So is it mind that is identifying a person? Probably not, right? So after all this analysis, I realized that really, you really don't have an identity other than the name that is given. That's it. Everything else is transient. You just go through it, and just like a laptop replication, it is still possible to replicate you, and you will live on just by your ideas. As long as you communicate well and share your ideas, you're going to live on with your ideas around. Just the way we kind of pass on the KP 1440, the memories and the ideas, and it lives on. So do that, make sure you communicate, make sure you learn to talk, because communication is very important if you want to talk through, and live on. Thank you.